Car crashes are an all too frequent reality of modern life, but your chances of being in a plane crash are minuscule. On Saturday, the improbable and unthinkable occurred at San Francisco International Airport on a Boeing 777. More than 24 people remain hospitalized. And tonight, ABC's David Wright takes us inside how this could have happened and the tiny flight attendant who saved lives by carrying passengers twice her size off the plane during the crash landing in San Francisco.
To San Francisco Tower, runway 28 right, clear land.
7 seconds out, a final burst of speed. The pilot of Asiana 214 must have realized he was coming in too low and too slow when his controls literally started to shake. An automatic warning 4 seconds out. Then this. Go around, he says. Just 1.5 seconds before his tail hits the tarmac. Too late to save Asiana 214.
Oh my God, that's scary.
They're running out.
The emergency chutes deployed, the passengers sliding down, filmed here by a horrified family watching from the terminal building.
Everybody's just running.
The first major plane crash in the U.S. in 4 years. A life or death drama that dropped out of the clear blue sky. Moments earlier, on board Asiana 214, the in-flight movie was ending. Love 911, a Korean romance about love between two firefighters. Among the passengers watching, Benjamin Levy in 30K, the exit row, headed home from a business trip. He looked out his window, suddenly worried.
I realized because I was sitting by the window that we were flying too low.
Up in business class, seat 3K, hip-hop producer Eugene Ross sensed a problem too.
I looked outside, worried with, with a little bit of, nervousness. And I could see the runway just right there, and plane was going to hit it.
The passengers say it felt to them like the pilot gunned the engine and pulled up, trying at the last minute to abort.
I don't know what happened. I was inside, but it certainly felt like we were going back up, and then we went back down pretty hard.
As I just grabbed whatever, and bang, the impact was so strong.
Asiana 214 belly flopped onto the runway and started to skid.
It was slow motion. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. I hope, we're going to be okay.
I thought I was dying, and I thought that was it.
214 heavy, emergency vehicles are responding.
Emergency crews leapt into action.
I heard one of our officers go on the air right away to clear the channel. I said code 33. It means clear the channel. Nobody talked. And then he said 777 just hit the runway.
Smoke quickly filling the cabin. Emergency responders knew they had mere minutes to get everyone out.
Oh, you can smell the smoke and the jet fuel and the burnt grass that's out there.
At two of the exits, emergency slides inflated inside the aircraft, pinning flight attendants to the wall.
And I saw the flight attendant's leg sticking out of the, from the wall, interior wall, and behind the wall, there was the emergency evacuation slide was inflated. So she was stuck in between, or she was sitting there. I don't know, maybe the door got open or something. And she was trying to give a signal to us by moving her leg like this.
The first police officers to arrive say the flight crews asked for knives, presumably to cut them away. Inside the now smoldering wreckage, you could barely move.
I could smell fuel in the air, and it was just a big mess. It was like the tornado went through the thing, and the overhead luggage racks were down on the ground. Everything was shattered. You couldn't find a walking pathway on the plane at all. It looked like somebody just tore the whole place apart inside.
Out of 307 souls on board, including passengers and crew, all but 2 survived, an astonishing number. The 2 who died, Chinese teenagers on their way to Christian summer camp. Their parents, obviously, heartbroken. Tragically, it's possible that one of the 2 girls may have survived the plane crash, only to be run over by a fire truck rushing to the scene. What you may not know is, was this person alive or dead when the truck came in contact with them?
That's correct.
Today, the National Transportation Safety Board confirmed investigators are reviewing videotapes and consulting with the San Francisco coroner to determine exactly what happened.
So we want to make sure that we have all the facts before we reach any conclusions.
It is, however, remarkable there weren't more deaths. But it's worth noting that safety experts say the chance you'll die in your next scheduled flight are about 45 million to 1. And the tragedy aboard Asiana 214 demonstrates that even severe plane crashes are survivable events. Statistics show that 95% of people survive. In this case, 99%. The Discovery Channel recently conducted a dramatic experiment to understand why, purposely crashing this 727, the pilots abandoning ship in midair,
Jumpers away.
leaving a bunch of crash test dummies, cameras, and computers to record what happened next. The findings that bracing yourself for impact does make a difference,
I suspect this one may have a concussion and that one may have a broken leg.
minimizing the chance you'll get knocked out or worse. Indeed, many of the injuries aboard Flight 214 are from concussive trauma.
One of the patients we talked to said that the seats in front of her all collapsed and came at her. She was sitting in her seat, and that's how she got her injuries.
So what exactly happened on Asiana 214? The National Transportation Safety Board is now investigating that. The crucial flight data and cockpit voice recorders already being reviewed at the NTSB lab in Washington. For its part, Asiana has already ruled out any problems with the aircraft, and company officials insist the pilot was a veteran with more than 10,000 hours of flight experience, much of it on 747s. But he was just being trained on the 777, only 43 hours at the helm of this particular aircraft. In fact, it was his first time landing a 777 in San Francisco.
It would be a mistake for any of us to say that, well, somebody has only 40 hours in this new type of airplane, but he's been flying big, heavy turbojets for a long time. That means he really isn't up to snuff, because they would never have turned him loose unless he had finished all the training courses and all the check rides.
Why it happened and who or what is to blame is now the focus of the safety investigation. And even if human error was a factor, the fact that 99% of the passengers survived will surely count in the pilot's and the airline's favor. Indeed, the flight crew included plenty of heroes.
The flight attendant was so tiny and skinny, and I couldn't believe how powerful, how strong she was. She was carrying people twice as big as her, and helping other flight attendants, and even outside the plane. After she got up the plane, she was running around the plane without any fear, just trying to help.
40-year-old Yun-hee Lee, injured herself, was the last person to leave the airplane. Today she told Korean television how she rescued some of the survivors herself. There was a little boy who was afraid to go down the slide, she said, so I put him on my back and slid down with him. Ben Levy helped people too, before grabbing his carry-on and heading out himself. In it, his mobile phone. He immediately called his wife.
So I took my phone out and I basically called her right away and said, look, I've been in a crash. I told her I'm fine. And then there's been an accident, but I'm okay. So I'll talk to you later.
Eugene Ra can't believe he's still here.
To be honest with you, I still can't believe. I still can't believe that I'm back alive. Last night I tried to get some sleep, close my eyes, and every time when I close my eyes, I kind of go back to the same spot, like the plane was, hitting the ground. I can't get rid of it. It was too strong.
A moment that he and so many others here will never forget. I'm David Wright for Nightline in San Francisco.